You're going to play the bumper on the #1 power play unit. You get your looks.
And now McKinnon comes driving in again on the second minor penalty. Feeds it back to Montour. That pass is blocked. Back is Konechny to pick it up. Montour to Crosby. Now Crosby back on it. Flips it back around to Horvat. Konechny comes trailing in. And McKinnon back with it. Feeds it back across to Crosby. That centering pass was blocked by Masic. And quickly Horak stops that.
So you say that Nate have practiced a lot in the summers. Probably a practice power play. McKinnon, one more look at the goal. Head up the whole time. You know where he wants to go, but his eyes are trying to draw the defenders down away from Horvat's stick. And he does a perfect job of it. The #1 unit cashed so fast they didn't want to take them off the ice. Had to give him a second look.
O'Reilly, Celebrini, Fantini, Johnson, the forwards on his second power play unit. Dobson on the back end.
Something on the ice down in the Canada zone that's going to require some attention. The official was down picking up something off the ice. Dylan Garand out there. Just some leftover snow. Interesting decision to start Dylan Garand in this game. They have Marc-Andre Fleury, of course.
Yeah.
Jordan Binnington just arrived as well, understanding not dressing him. But you would have thought for sure that Fleury would have gotten this game, and you weren't exactly positive Garand would even start any games. But Marc-Andre Fleury watching with a smile, as he always does. But maybe they thought, we'll get Garand this one, and then this might be the only one. Marc-Andre Fleury heads off into retirement wearing a Canadian jersey. Pretty cool.
Ryan O'Reilly playing in his 7th World Championship for Canada.
A 4th all-time leading Canadian scorer in this tournament.
Wins that face-off. Back to Dobson. Celebrini. Back down to O'Reilly. Macklin, Celebrini. Feeds it back down to O'Reilly. To Celebrini. Throws it back in front. Just missed Fantilli with that pass. Now Dobson. Slides it back to Celebrini. Across to O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly back to Dobson. Johnson works it back across. Celebrini, good chance at the side of the goal. Celebrini back with it. Takes the return pass from Dobson to the goal mouth to O'Reilly. Feeds that back in front for Johnson. Rebound of Fantilli, that's turned away. Now Johnson back with it. 20 seconds to go in the second Canadian power play. Kent Johnson back across to Celebrini. Macklin, Celebrini. Down to O'Reilly. Celebrini. Feeds that back to Dobson. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Johnson. Back to Dobson for Celebrini, and loads. And Horak makes the save. Celebrini back with it. Penalized players back on the ice. O'Reilly pulls it free. Horak the save. And Johnson could get his stick free. Gazosek moves it back down to the Canadian zone, but the puck bounces into the Canadian bench.
The second unit gets their best look on a seam pass from Johnson over to Celebrini. And Celebrini won't be happy with that shot. He pulled it and also did not elevate. He's trying to sling it upstairs and didn't quite catch it clean. Got it on the side of the net. The next one needs to save for Horak. We like the activity down around the lip of the crease for the second unit.
Lots of youthful content on this Canadian roster. Go along with Crosby. Sublic, a long shot. That goes wide. Worth pointing out that Fantilli and Celebrini, Crosby's two line mates, are a combined 2 years older than him. Actually, just under 2 years, about a year and a half. As that's icing called against Canada.
Just soak it all up for those guys. Part of their great experience of being in this tournament would be playing with Sidney Crosby, being around Sidney Crosby, but also being a sponge.
Right.
Everything Crosby offers up.
Celebrini sitting next to Crosby in the dressing room.
Saw Celebrini and Crosby working on face-offs yesterday in practice. Any way you could pick his brain, do so.
Plays off, controlled by Slovenia. Gregorts plays that back in. Draws. Had that knocked away. Braden Shen back with it. Shen goes rink wide to Spurgeon. Up ahead to Crosby. Now Crosby centers at the tip there by Spurgeon. Good stop by Horak. 9.5 to go here in the opening period. Slovenia trying to develop its youth program. Both their under 18 and under 20 teams did win promotion last year, so they were in Division 1A, one below the top level this season, and both survived, so that's an important milestone for them, a country that has fewer than 150 registered senior players. As Hayton moves in and shoots, that dribbles wide.
Great, 150 senior players. That's not even a men's league in a major Canadian city.
Phil Deneau up for Montour, pulled that free and rolled it wide. We'll talk about great Slovene athletes. Luka Doncic, 5-time NBA first-team All-Star. Of course, Kopitar, just shy of 1,300 points in the NHL. The next best Slovenian has 4. In comes Konecny, tees it up and shoots and pounded that wide. Back out to Uyghur at center ice. Off the end boards, picked up by Konecny. Konecny centers for McKinnon, that's knocked down. And now picked off by Horvat. Horvat looks down to McKinnon. Pivots back in the corner, the reigning NHL MVP. McKinnon sends that rink wide for Horvat, that missed. Now Horvat back on it to McKinnon. Racing up is Dobson. Feeds that back to Konecny. And Uyghur with it. Uyghur, good move there. In and shoots, that was blocked. And McKinnon chips that down to Horvat. Canada playing keep away here in the offensive zone. Dobson with it. Dobson back of the line. Uyghur with a shot, that was blocked by Ozoshek. Horvat back to Uyghur, to Konecny. Long shift in the offensive zone here. McKinnon on it. Crisscrossing with Uyghur. McKinnon centers it. Tip one. Goal by Konecny rather, on the stop made by Horak. Canada finally begins a change here as Crosby gathers it back up at center ice. Here they come again. Dobson in across the line. Noah Dobson tied up in the corner. Crosby back after it. Around to Celebrini. The young San Jose star has that taken away and brought back by Capel. Rook Capel had his pocket pick, and Crosby looked ahead for Celebrini. Magovets. Slide there for Sabolic. Sabolic had it taken away and moved out by Sanheim. And Duran got a stick on that to knock it down for Spurgeon. He's tied up in the corner by Torak. Torak plays that back. Bouncing puck in front. Duran is down. The puck's still loose. And a good stop there on the shot by Langas. Gathered back up by Torak. Now Fantilli settles things down and finds Crosby. Back for Sanheim, ahead for Spurgeon, and back down to the Slovenian zone. Slovenia has only survived relegation twice at the World Championship, once in 2002 and again in 2005 when Kopitar was a young draft eligible. Since then, they've been relegated their last 7 appearances in the top division. O'Reilly. Up ahead for Forrester, chipped on goal, and Horak knocked that away. O'Reilly back on it. And Slovenia narrowly won promotion in Division A of the World Championship last year. They tied with Romania and Italy for second place behind Hungary. But they had the best record in the games between those 3. That earned them promotion once again. Kent Johnson walks out of the corner. Johnson slides back. 24 goal year this year for Columbus. For Kent Johnson, as Evans has it back. Riker Evans, tied up in the corner, wins that battle for the puck and feeds it down to O'Reilly. Back in for Johnson. Quick look back for Hayton. Now, shot for Uyghur goes just wide. Evans back on it, down to Hayton. And Riker Evans steps up. Back down to Barrett Hayton. Back down to Evans. Gets the puck for Phil Deneau. Now jumping up is Weegar to keep it alive, and Deneau backs him up.
Well, give Slovenia credit. They're playing their own end the entire period, but defending pretty well against the grade A chances for Canada.
Shots are 11-1 in favor of Canada. That bounces down to Garand. Better be careful on the one. And Deneau can't reach that pass. Icing waved off. As Stebek goes back. Miha Stebek. Moves that for Jozovchik. And now Shen back on it. He's taken down, and off the bench comes McKinnon to play that for Spurgeon. Lead pass finds Konechny. Drops it back to McKinnon. Now Konechny back with it for Sanheim with a shot. And Horak able to make the save. 4:16 to go here in the opening period. Canada with a 1-0 lead.
Toyota takes you there. Don't miss out. Get in and go at your local Toyota dealer today.
Wait, a pill?
It's a pill. Ask your doctor about Rybelsus.
Hockey is back. The fans are full of hope. The skates sharpened, the blue line bolstered, and the half-empty glass is once again full. Join us for your Roadhouse favorites and cheer them on at Kelsey's, the original Roadhouse.
Back here in Stockholm at Avicii Arena, day 2 of the 2025 World Hockey Championship. Yesterday, Finland opened with a knee-knocking win in its opener against Austria. The Austrians will play next against Sweden. Here's Horvat on it. That's picked off and brought back by Capel. 3-on-1 for Slovenia. Capel moves it and shoots, and Garand gets a piece of that. Brought back by Horvat the other way for Konechny. With McKinnon driving in. Konechny. For the trailer, Sanheim looks back for McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon. Lines back across for Montour moving in. That pass back across. Konechny with a chance, and the stop made by Horak.
Saves at both ends as Travis Konechny gets a good look. First off, it's a 3-on-1. Capel keeps, and there's a good save by Garand right off his shoulder, and a big one to come the other way. Now, Konechny would probably like to shoot this a little quicker, but he settles. And Joel Horvat doing a good job occupying 2 defenders in front. And Konechny had space on the glove side, just to not hit it.
Magovic back for it for Slovenia. Slovenes will play Slovakia tomorrow. They close against Austria and France.
That's their tournament, those games.
Now Matheson chips it back around to Montour. That's picked off. Droge sends it back in front. A great chance there for Stebek. And a good stop by Garand.
Another good one by Garand, and a quick play on a turnover. Canada getting a little spread out. That connection between the forwards and the defense, not what you want it to be, as Matheson can't connect with Montour. And Celebrini not able to get back in time as Droge throws it in front. And a quick tip from Sitar. Saved by Garand. A lot of pressure on Garand in this game.
Yeah.
On an NHL goaltender who's playing the star-studded team in a game he's supposed to win comfortably.
He was the Canadian Hockey League Goalie of the Year in 2022, the year he won gold with Canada at the World Junior Championship. Got saved by the famous goal line stop. And the golden goal a moment later by Kent Johnson. And now a steal again, and this time brought down is Jejel. That'll be a penalty against Canada, as Slovenia will get its first man advantage with 2:50 to go in the first period. 1-0 the score at the 2025 World Championship.
I'd do anything.
Surprise! We got a dog.
Aw, new pet? Let's go to PetSmart. We've got literally anything you need. And Treats Rewards gives you savings with every purchase for every pet. PetSmart. Anything for pets.
Unleash your inner lion at Leo Vegas.
Details. They may be small, but their importance is enormous. Every choice, every gesture, every tuning is a testimony to the most intense passion. Because details are not just details. They're everything. New Alfa Romeo Intensa. Passion is in the details.
Team Canada, number 52, minor penalty tripping.
Slovenia has the power play. Just heard it. Mackenzie Weegar picks up a trip. He is a right-handed shot playing on the left side. Got a little tangled up with the blue line. Now he's done that before, but had to take the trip to avoid the 3-on-1.
In its last appearance in the top division, Slovenia scored just 9 times in 7 games, and their power play was 2 for 19. And it failed them at key moments as they tried to avoid relegation. Gregorts plays that back. And Travis Konecny, one of the best penalty killers in the National Hockey League, stymied that rush.
I'm just thinking they have so many players on Team Canada that can play in every situation. You got Phil Deneau stepping out here, one of the best defensive centermen in the NHL. Forster does a nice job. They're Hayton out there killing penalties as well.
Sabelich trying to move that around. Bouncing puck behind the goal. Matheson trying to get there. Sabelich back on it. Looks back down to Capel. He's tied up. Inside 2 to go here in the opening period. Matheson back on it. And Deneau tells him to buy some time. Feeds it back around to Hayton.
Part of the job, Dean Evanson's responsibility here is also spread the special teams so that everyone gets to play.
Right.
If you have the same guys doing both jobs plus 5-on-5, then you're going to have a handful of players that don't play very much. And that's not ideal.
Masic moves around Forster and drops that back for Droz. And Droz getting across the line. It's onside. Droz still with it. Masic slides that back across, and the shot off the outside of the post by Sitar. Masic back down to Sitar. Tied up by Spurgeon. And the high backhand doesn't get up. Masic keeps it alive. Back around for Droz. That's on the line, but onside. Langus. Back to Masic. Plays it across, and that shot taken by Makovic's block. Langus. Back to Masic. And out of the box comes Weegar. He's got O'Reilly with him at the end of a penalty kill shift. Now Sanheim jumping up as well. Weegar back across to O'Reilly. Shoots, and that flutters wide.
He said it. He was tired. So tired the hands were hardly working at the end of a shift for O'Reilly.
Now Sanheim back across for Crosby, and Crosby just missed at the side of the goal. Sitar. Up ahead to Magavats. And played back down to the Canadian zone. That was a long shift for O'Reilly as he makes his way off the ice. Crosby chips it back down to the Slovene zone. Gregorts. That's knocked down at the line by Evans.
Oh, Crosby McKinnon post power play.
There we go.
Together.
The Cole Harbor connection as time winds down. Canada outshoots Slovenia 14-4. And leads 1-0.
Slovenia had a couple looks on the power play. Maybe the best one of them was this by Sitar trying to go short side and off the edge of the post. Duran would say he's got the angles covered. He probably did in that case. And Sidney Crosby famously likes to drop to the one knee to chop it upstairs. But another good save by Horak, who was solid for Slovenia in the first period to keep this just 1-0 for Canada.
Day 2 of the World Hockey Championship in Stockholm. Our first intermission is coming up.
Don't let lunch be a letdown. Go get that fresh deal. Like Subway 6-inch Italian BMT or sweet onion chicken teriyaki on fresh baked bread for just $5.99. Subway makes it fresh like that.
When your back hurts, life hurts. Roback's dual-action formula relieves pain and relaxes tight muscles. Take back your back with Robax.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean routine starts with Oral-B.
To a perfect family vacation, separate rooms.
Put the load right on me.
Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western.
At Wayfair, we're game for every style.
Let's play charades. I'll act out my favorite chair. Got it. All right, ready?
Yep.
This one rocking chair.
Velvet tufted chaise lounger.
This is charades. Loungers are off limits.
Well, there's no rule about adding it to my card.
It's a great deal.
This barrel swivel chair.
Yes!
Boom!
Wow. Not my first charades.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Speed Soft. A ball designed to be softer off the tee, softer at impact, and softer around the greens. Don't make golf harder. Play a softer ball. Speed Soft from TaylorMade.
Fresh Stone Rollies, ready at any moment for real-life moments. Loaded with your favorite flavors, Rollies keep you reaching for more. Share them, dip them, love them. Rollies, life rolled up.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scored!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships and raised nearly $8 million annually for charities in minor hockey, shaping futures beyond the rink. Excellence on the ice, opportunity beyond it. The Ontario Hockey League, where the journey begins.
You know that Royale Tiger Towel paper towel is Tiger Strong, but did you know it's carbon neutral? Tiger Towel is part of an organization that plants millions of trees each year and responsibly manage forests. Royale, trusted quality, carbon neutral.
The PWHL semifinals will continue with Game 2 tomorrow. The Ottawa Charge facing the Montreal Victoire. Coverage gets underway at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific here on TSN. Despite outshooting Slovenia 14-4 and spending much of the period in their end, it's just that Bo Horvat goal that's the difference so far as Canada leads 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. Mark Earl alongside Mark Giordano and Carlo Koliakovo for the first intermission. They score on the power play, Mark, and it's funny, you look at that lineup before the game, and one of the first things you said was they're going to win a lot of face-offs, and that was a huge factor in that one goal.
Yeah, huge, especially for special teams. And, I mean, Bo Horvat isn't even playing center tonight, and he takes the face-off on the power play, wins the draw clean. And, I mean, he's 58.2% in the NHL, 7th overall, and he's not even playing center. But right here, he wins it clean. Everyone gets a touch on this puck. They move it around. You have full control. Tons of possession, and there's just too many options for McKinnon. He gets it back, even bobbles it a bit, but then there's just way too many options, and that little play that he made to Horvat there, that's pretty hard to defend. Even in the NHL, he likes that one, Horvat, that shot from there. So good on them. You got to get your special teams going early in tournaments, and I like their units.
And you talk about that tournament or the power play and the names that it has on it. It almost brings us back, the flashback to the Four Nations, where we had Crosby and McKinnon both playing together. And that goal there was scored in 13 seconds. The first power play at the Four Nations, you had McDavid, you had Crosby, you had McKinnon. It took them 12 seconds to score this goal, and that place erupted. And so it just reminds us that when you have special talent like Canada has on the roster, especially in this tournament where you've got Crosby and McKinnon playing again, they can be so lethal in such a short period of time, and that's another example of it.
And you guys were both surprised that Dylan Garand got the start in this game. And here's a young goaltender, never played at the World Championship. And when you're out shooting another team 14-4, I'm not saying as a goalie you're falling asleep, but you're wondering when the opposition does get a chance, what's going to happen. And he was pretty impressive in that first period.
He had to make some big saves, completely late in the period. And yes, Mark, you're absolutely right. For a young guy, you want to feel the puck, you want touches, and for all the possession that Canada had, look at these saves he's had today. This is a 3-on-1 for Slovenia, and he has to make a big shoulder save here to preserve the 1-0 lead for Canada. I love his positioning. He looks confident in the net. And just a minute later, another great play by Slovenia, throws a puck to the net. And this is a redirection. He's got to be quick on this play with the glove. And for only having to make 4 saves in that period, those are 2 big scoring chances that he had to save.
2 high-danger chances. You wouldn't expect Canada to be giving up that much, but it looked for a long time 0 shots in the first 15 minutes, but 2 quality saves by the young goalie.
And he's got to stay in the game because as much as Canada's dominating, he's probably going to be facing those less shots and less scoring chances as the game goes on.
Almost went 14 minutes without giving up a shot against Slovenia. Meanwhile, Bo Horvat had 28 goals with the Islanders this past year, and he now has his 4th career World Championship goal, and he's standing by with Lindsay Hamilton.
Bo, first game, first period, first goal for Canada. What did you think of the start?
Yeah, I thought we had a good start. Their goalie's playing well. I think we can get to the inside a little bit more, but it feels good to get the first one, and let's keep going from here.
A lot has been made about the depth of this squad. Case in point, that top power play unit. What stands out to you? Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of special players. Nate and Sid are phenomenal, and obviously TK and I have a pretty good relationship too. So, it's fun to be out there, and Nate just did a heck of a job to get that to me. Your 2nd World Championship. What made you want to come back? Anytime you get to represent your country, you come over here and wear the flag, it's an honor, and anytime you get the chance to do it, especially with an elite talent like this, it's hard to say no. Thanks, Bill. Thank you.
So it's a 1-0 lead for Canada in Stockholm. Meanwhile, in Herning right now, Norway leads 1-0. Johannes Johansson, who's playing in his 8th World Championship, has the lone goal as they lead against Kazakhstan. That game being shown over on TSN 2. When we return, an update from the Stanley Cup playoffs, where the Toronto Maple Leafs had an opportunity to go up 3-0 in their series against the Panthers. But it was an old nemesis getting in the way of that. Those highlights when we return.
Your average weekly shop costs less at Walmart than at any other major grocery store. We save you time and money by price checking thousands of items so you don't have to.
You hear that, Jerry? We can stop now. We can?
If you're traveling to be surrounded by nature, don't end up surrounded by hotel.
Excuse me, coming through.
Get an Airbnb and go where hotels can't.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Avoid the hype.
Whatever life you choose, gold is easy to invest in online. It could help you grow what you have and protect it. Gold. Choose your own path.
Hey, good game out there, bud.
Wish I could say the same.
Guys, did I really play that bad out there?
Bad? It looked like you had 2 left feet out there, bud. It's because you keep wearing those generic cotton underwear.
Guys, they're a little stretched out and they ride up a bit.
A bit? I'm surprised you didn't get a 2-minute penalty for awkward adjusting.
I told you already, you should be wearing man-made underwear.
No stretching out, riding up, or constant adjusting. And then the only thing going deep will be your forecheck. You get it?
Yeah, sure.
Bar none, there's nothing else better than Auto Trader.
Knowing they're Canadian, I think absolutely is a cherry on top.
That definitely changes the game for me.
It's been around for 50 years, and it's still the best place to buy or sell a car. The answer is Auto Trader.
You miss surgery?
I think I always will. But I made the decision to move here to be with you. I'm happy with that choice. I have a reservation.
She's just a guest.
She's pretty.
Sorry, I hadn't really noticed.
I think there's something you're holding back.
You sure you made the right decision?
Life is complicated anywhere you go, Maggie.
The only thing that looking backwards does is keeps a person from moving forward.
It's time I start spreading my wings.
An all-new Sullivan's Crossing, Sunday on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
The CHL League Championships continue tonight with Game 2 of the OHL Final as the Oshawa Generals take on the London Knights. Coverage gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific here on TSN. Last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Leafs-Panthers series shifted to Sunrise, Florida, and after 2 impressive wins at home, it was the Maple Leafs looking to take a stranglehold against the defending champs. They were up 3-1 early in this game, and then it was Florida up 4-3 in the third when Morgan Riley throws it on net. It goes off Sergei Bobrovsky and Seth Jones, and the Leafs get a lucky bounce. It's Riley's 4th of the playoffs, and this game would go to overtime, where Brad Marchand, who has tortured Toronto for many years with Boston, fires in the game winner, and it hits Riley and gets a friendly bounce. Yeah, that's Carlo Koliakovo sound. Marchand's second of the playoffs gets Florida on the board. They win 5-4, and they cut the deficit in that series to 2-1. Stars-Jets, Game 2. Winnipeg on the power play in the first. Nikolai Ehlers hits the post. Gabe Vilardi banging in the rebound. His first goal of the playoffs. The Jets up 1-0 early. It's now 2-0 in the second. Dylan DeMello's shot misses. Jake Ottinger slow to react, and Adam Lowry is there to capitalize. The Jets captain with his 4th of the playoffs. Connor Hellebuyck making 21 saves for the shutout. The Jets win 4-0 to even up that series. Meanwhile, it's Canada leading 1-0 in their game against Slovenia. It's Norway leading 1-0 in their game against Kazakhstan. You can see that Canada game right now on TSN 1 and 4. Norway, Kazakhstan on TSN 2.
Love glitter? Try having it literally everywhere. Waterworks? Nothing's more dramatic than a skin knee. Paparazzi's got nothing on first graders.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean routine starts with Oral-B.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Bedard to bring him up for Regina. 1-on-2, step by the defenseman to the net. The deke, and he scores! Oh my!
The Western Hockey League, the world's finest development league for junior hockey players. Offering a world-class player experience and the most comprehensive hockey scholarship in North America, the WHL has been a leading supplier of talent for the NHL for nearly 60 years. The Western Hockey League, where community, education, and elite hockey development deliver the best.
The all-new 2025 Equinox. And an 11.3-inch diagonal touchscreen.
Hey Google, find me an alternate route.
Here are your alternate routes.
And available HD surround vision. And Chevrolet.
Lease a 2025 Equinox LT all-wheel drive midnight edition for $218 bi-weekly. That's like $109 weekly at 5.5% for 48 months with $4,200 down.
Dylan Garand stopped all 4 shots he faced from Slovenia in that opening period. Canada 1-0 lead of the goal by Bo Horvat. Horvat actually scored 3 times in the 2018 World Championship, so has his 4th career goal. Canada will take on Latvia on Sunday. They close out against Finland and Sweden with back-to-backs on the final 2 days of the preliminary round.
Canada like to try to get a little closer to the net on their chances. A little cleaner in the offensive zone.
Okay, guys, native first, boys. Everyone take one. McKinnon connecting, and Horvat, the forward line again for Canada. And Capel tried to move that, but picked off by McKinnon. And away comes Nathan McKinnon. Driving in, try to slide that across to Konechny. That was broken up. Sanheim knocks it down. In comes Sanheim's shot, and that's gloved by Horak.
Horak gave a little tap to Konechny. He was getting to know him very well around the front of the net, and Horak was one of the real stars for Slovenia in the first period. Some decent chances, a 4-minute power play where Canada got their only goal. A lot of these saves, you're getting a pretty clean look at it. That last one on Crosby may be the best of the bunch late in the first.
Spurgeon moves that down to Horvat. That's picked off by Sitar. Plays for the Connecticut Huskies of the NCAA. There are a couple of college and junior players on this Slovene roster. As Konechny moves in, slides it back across. McKinnon with a chance, and Horak able to make the save. Konechny put that right in the tee for McKinnon. Now Dobson on the fresh ice falls in the corner. Up for Horvat. Chips that for Konechny. Hooks it back across for Uyghur as Canada change it. And Uyghur moves that back in.
Dobson was shaking out his wrist after sliding in the boards there.
The Slovenian players play in 12 different leagues in 10 countries. That's picked up by Celebrini. Back across, and Fantilli turned away and tight by Horak. Here's Fantilli. Back across to Uyghur along wrist shot. Dipped by Celebrini. Fantilli back on it. And that's brought out by Simcic. Thompson back around to Uyghur. For Fantilli to Crosby. Crosby to Celebrini. And Celebrini back in front for Crosby. The puck at his feet. And Fantilli gets a tap at it. And Horak makes the save.
Starting the period, 2 glorious chances for Canada. Travis Konechny establishing body position there to shed Sitar. So well done. No look sauce. And Nate McKinnon just again does not quite get in the top of the net. A great save by Horak though to get across with a blocker to turn him aside. And then same kind of play here. Celebrini to Fantilli. Another shot that was not where he wanted it.
Sodja chips that back down. Garan back to pick it up. Long shot. Rocketed high by Stibbit. And Forster finds Matheson. Up ahead for Kent Johnson. He bobbled the puck for a moment. Now swings it down to the Slovenian zone. Forster. Back down to Uyghur. Up ahead to Johnson. Moves back to O'Reilly. Back for Kent Johnson. Up and shooting, and the puck is deflected up and out by Trusic.
Kent Johnson, the one thing you say about Kent is when, no matter where he plays, what the role, he just produces points. All the time. We've seen him play it when he's even younger than this in Worlds or international events where he didn't get to play very much, and yet he just produces points.
One of a handful of players in the history of the IIHF who's played in the World Junior, the World Championship, and the Olympics in the same year. Hayton plays it in. Back down to Deneau. And a chance for Cooley at the side of the goal. That's turned away by Horak. Deneau drops it off for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon back with it. Lobs that towards the goal. Horak with a blocker save. Cooley back around to Hayton for Sanheim. In for Barrett Hayton. He shoots. That's blocked. The puck goes into the mesh.
It's tricky right now for Canada to get those shots through. When they have a rush chance, they're creating great looks. When they have extended offensive zone time, look at Barrett Hayton. He wheels around this about the 20 seconds in, and look at all those bodies. He gets it off the stick. Gregor's in the crowd, but even down around the front of the net. Lots of Slovenian jerseys ready to block the shots.
Hayton scored one of the most famous goals in Canadian World Junior lore back in 2020. With his arm in a sling in the morning, scored the tying goal in the third period against Russia. Wasn't even clear he'd be able to continue in that game. Here's Evans with it. Back across to Uyghur, little dangle at the blue line. Down to McKinnon, who's surrendered his number 29 to Marc-Andre Fleury, deferring to the veteran.
think early days before McKinnon came over, Celebrini was 9. He quickly gave that up to McKinnon and moved on down the line to 96.
McKinnon drops it off to Uyghur. In comes Mackenzie Uyghur. Back for McKinnon with a shot, scores! McKinnon slides that by Horak, and Canada's got a 2-0 lead.
Nathan McKinnon comes over, assists on the first one, scores the second one. Such a smart play in the neutral zone to cut this back and then hit Uyghur on the drop. And that gaps out the two defenders. And with McKinnon's speed, he's able to attack wide. Magavash concedes the ice and slips it 5-hole. Really smart shot, but set up by a crafty play in the neutral zone to Uyghur. Anytime Nathan McKinnon gets a gap and a full head of steam, that is bad news for the defense.
Crosby back with it for Shen. Brought in by Makovec. That long backhand shot is gloved easily by Garand, and he'll hang on.
Canada would like to start converting on some of these chances they're creating, and Nathan McKinnon slows it down. Cross and drop. That pulls out of the way, and then Uyghur gets it right back to him. And that new 5-hole slipper as Horak was getting down early.
Fantilli up for Crosby. Fantilli also an IIHF rarity, one of the 11 players in history to win gold, the World Junior, and the World Championship in the same year. Jonathan Toews, the only other Canadian ever to do that. Crosby, back for Montour. Back to Crosby. And the center of that, Montour got a stick on it. Now loose at center ice, and Jejel plays it back down to the Canadian zone. They're going to call that icing on Slovenia.
Little details, trying to make sure you get the center ice as Rakovic plays for Ljubljana, Olympia. About a dozen players on this team play for that same club team in Slovenia.
In the Ice Hockey League, which is teams from Austria, Slovenia, Hungary, and Italy.
It's a nice loop if you can get it.
Yeah.
But there is the advantage of having some familiarity with about half the squad.
Johnson banks that down. Here's Kent Johnson. Winds back across the top. Johnson still with it, has some room and shoots. And Horak to stop on that.
Kent Johnson's not looking to defer. He is absolutely looking to shoot whenever he can.
Jejel moves in, straightened up there by Spurgeon. Jejel plays for Fevar Academy in Hungary. He's a 20-year-old. As Forster comes in and shoots, it goes off a skate and wide. Johnson back at the point for Sanheim. Forster, Sanheim along wrist shot that was blocked.
Wow.
Reaching out there was Sodya. And Garand up to play it.
You know who the emergency backup is.
Here's Uyghur with it. And by the way, e-bugs are not a feature of the World Championship. Each team is allowed to name 3 goaltenders. Sodya. And I know our colleague Jamie McLennan would like to see that in the NHL. A team to have a 3rd goaltender available as opposed to an emergency backup or a...
Well, the new CBA is getting negotiated as we speak. That could be something to put in there. 3rd goalie not on the cap.
Right.
Just in case. Usually it's a video guy. Your 3rd goalie that you have on your team is usually the video guy or some coach that played goaltender earlier on.
Uyghur back on it. Mackenzie Uyghur was one of the many players who would tell you that playing in the World Championship really changed his trajectory.
He went from good to being elite.
Talk about his confidence.
On the heels of that performance he had 2 years ago.
Dano banks that to Cooley. And Will Cooley got spun around in the corner. Capel. Moved up now, Capel back with it. Centers it, drops it back, and it's fired high by Masic. Had a great look there, but missed the net. Uyghur. Out to center ice and back to pick it up is Nutsay Langus, who plays at Augustana University in the NCAA. You like a lot of these young Slovenes has played in a whole bunch of Division 1A and 1B tournaments at the under 18s and the World Junior.
Also played a little bit in Canada growing up.
Yeah.
The Don Mills Flyer organization in Toronto when he was 16.
McKinnon moves in. It's knocked down and away from Konechny. And Langus back with it. Racing back is Matheson to pick it up. Konechny has that go off a skate. And Matheson back to gather it up. In comes Horvat. Drops it off to McKinnon. Canada changing D. Here's McKinnon buying some time. A pass across for Evans was knocked away. Becker Evans, a native of Calgary. Now brought in by Podrekar. Podrekar slides out across. A good chance there for Simčić. Turned away by Garan. The 5th shot of the game for Slovenia.
Crosby none too happy with Simčić. Went back at him with a little bit of a cross check behind the net.
Celebrating for Evans. Crosby did not come here for vacation.
He wants a word with him right now, too. Look at him. He's going back at him.
12:08 to go in the second period. Canada now a 2-0 lead.
Let's find out who won an additional $75,000 and the Kruger Big Assist Grand Prize.
Congratulations, North Halton Girls Hockey. Thank you so much for running this program. What we can do with this for our community, it's just incredible.
The Kruger Big Assist program is so important. We all know the cost is rising to be able to play the game, and the lack of diversity in the sport are both really big problems, and the Kruger Big Assists are really removing those barriers for a lot of kids, giving them the opportunity to play Canada's sport.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio, it's patio.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Shed-tastic.
Girl, you nailed it!
No, this set, it's just a couple of screws.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, so, do
I got it.
Lost in the Crosby undertow was the arrival of Nathan McKinnon, also a pretty good player, one of the very best in the world, and Crosby still chattering at the last whistle. He went and talked to the referee, was not happy with something. But you're right, and I think that's healthy for Canada, that he brings that serious demeanor to this tournament and to wanting to make sure that he performs well right from the get-go. A tournament you can kind of grow into for the first weekend, maybe ratchet up in the second.
He turned up in 2015. That was the first year that Infront, the marketing company that sponsors this tournament, offered a 10 million Swiss francs prize for a team that had a perfect record. Crosby in shoots. Horak makes the save. Canada went 10-0. Cashed the prize. Hasn't been offered since. And the wins ought to be in regulation, by the way. Crosby another backhand shot at Horak. Got a piece of that with a shaft of his stick.
Schilder's getting a workout for Horak. Sid takes a couple of cracks at him. Celebrini drives the middle, gets it over to Crosby, pushes the defenders back. He's got to go top glove. Brings one off the shoulder on one side, and then Crosby still might have the best backhand in the NHL as far as a shot. Gets one off the other shoulder with the backhand. One of the few players who doesn't use a big curve in the NHL. Relatively straight stick.
Matheson up ahead for Braden Shen. In 2015, when Crosby arrived, Braden Shen gave up his spot. He had agreed to come already, and then Crosby bumped around the lineup, and Shen earned a lot of respect from his teammates and Team Canada management for that. Now, O'Reilly's knocked down. Another high stick being called on Slovenia's Miha Steve. Caught O'Reilly.
Looks like he's got a little abrasion by his eye as well. O'Reilly, one of the last 3 or 4 NHL players who doesn't wear a visor.
Right, he has to wear one here.
Have to wear one international.
But his is tilted back about as far as you can.
Team Slovenia, number 6, minor penalty for high sticking.
Well, that is the second high sticking penalty for Slovenia. This one, a 2, not a 4. Stevic. Oh, scrapes it across the nose. He'll be thankful he had a visor on there. The first contact was with the visor. It's nothing. Sure.
Montour to McKinnon. Canada scored 12 seconds into its first power play. McKinnon sends it back for Konechny. That pass just misfired. Crosby back around to McKinnon. Now McKinnon. Back to Montour, holds the line. Montour to Crosby. Slides it back for Montour with a shot. Horak save. McKinnon gathers it back up. McKinnon back across to Crosby. Slings that down to Horvat. Horvat back to Crosby. Flips it back for Konechny and back to Montour. Crosby. Tap that back to Konechny. Goes the other way to McKinnon. And McKinnon can't hold the line. He's sent flying. Podrekar got his stick in the skates, and now Crosby back with it. Feeds that back to Montour for Konechny. Crosby parked on the back door. Konechny. Montour. McKinnon. Pivots back around Sitar.
Good luck.
And now McKinnon back with it. Moves that back to Montour. 45 seconds to go on the power play. McKinnon. Back to Montour. The pass just out of his reach and back to center ice. And the second unit gets a chance to come on with 35 seconds to go in the power play. Celebrini winds in with Fantilli. Celebrini sends that for Kent Johnson. And Dobson with it. Noah Dobson shoots from a sharp angle, deflected there by O'Reilly. And the glove save made by Horak.
Well, lots of zone time for the first unit, but not a lot of shots as they tried looking on McKinnon's side, rolled it over to Crosby's side. And Nevison couldn't quite get it to connect for his power play group. I think Nathan McKinnon, you see him dancing around. That's him indicating he wants to up the tempo. He wants the puck to move faster, his body to move faster. When it's slow, it's just easier to defend.
Saw a glimpse there of one of the great features of the World Championship. Travis Konechny of the Philadelphia Flyers and Sidney Crosby, the Pittsburgh Penguins, talking things over on the bench. Different teammates in different places. As Johnson winds in. Final seconds now of the power play. Kent Johnson chips that back in front. And moved back up by Stevic, just out of the penalty box. O'Reilly up for Celebrini. He finds Johnson loose in front. The pad saved by Horak.
What a pass by Celebrini.
Kubalik. Now that picked off and Deneau back the other way for Hayton. Back for Deneau. He throws that towards the goal and Horak kicks that away. Puck's onside to Will Cooley. Backhand shot. Horak saved. Deneau reaching for the rebound. Josic. Lost the handle. Sanheim back for Spurgeon. Moves it and shoots, and Horak gets a piece of that. And the shots piling up here in the second period. It's 11-2 in favor of Canada. Chipped ahead by Torak. And Matheson has it back. The Point Claire Quebec native moves in. Matheson doubles that back across, and Fantilli couldn't quite connect. Knocked down by Forster. In for Braden Shen. Moves that back to Montour for Matheson. And in for Fantilli. Back down to Forster. He got clipped with a high stick. And there's another penalty for high sticking coming to Slovenia. Rook Matsu will go off, and Canada goes back to the power play.
Popeyes has gone full pickle. You got your pickle glazed sandwich, you got your fried pickles, and of course, you got your pickle glazed wings. Where my pickle people at? Love that pickle from Popeyes.
This is severe weather.
getting worse in Canada, and we all pay the price. But this is what protecting Canadians from the impacts of severe weather looks like. By the thousands of people who work in our insurance industry, protecting the things we love.
Imagine this is your retinol. The minute you open it, it starts to degrade. But Elizabeth Arden Retinol plus HPR ceramide capsules are sealed to keep light and air out, so the retinol is always at its freshest, visibly improving the look of lines and wrinkles in 7 days. Elizabeth Arden, the smarter retinol.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
Team Slovenia, number 47, minor penalty for high sticking.
Canada back to another power play in quick succession. Another high sticking penalty for Slovenia. That's 3 now. And this time it's Forster who gets raked across the chin with the shaft of the stick. Matsuo gets a little lazy.
I'd actually say there's been 4 high sticking penalties. The first was a double minor. McKinnon, Konechny, back for Montour, winds and shoots, and Horak. A close-up look at Brandon Montour's shot there, and got a piece of it.
Montour can really hammer the puck. Different look we have not seen down to the goal line that backs to the seam to Montour. He's a righty, so he can't one-time it.
18 goals as your Montour at Seattle Kraken.
Lively legs, lively shot, lively personality.
Yeah.
Lots of energy in his world.
Stanley Cup winner a year ago with Florida. Montour drops that back to McKinnon. McKinnon with a head of steam. Sometimes it looks like he's in a video game.
He's on fast forward.
Yeah. Feeds it back across. Crosby tried to center that. Here's Montour back with it to Crosby. Crosby to Horvat to McKinnon. Has a look. Try to slide that back in. The pass was blocked by Magavats. McKinnon. Back with it again to Montour. Crosby. And to go on the power play. Crosby back to Montour. Shoots. That was blocked. As Belichick got a piece of that. McKinnon back to Horvat. Scores. Paul Horvat with a rocket's got his second. Both from the power play. And it's 3-0.
Horvat showing why he plays the bumper position. He can really shoot it from a lot of different angles, from a lot of different places, and put it in different spots in the net. He scored one a little bit lower in the first period. This one, after a good shot block, but they don't get the clear. Horvat pops out, and McKinnon and Horvat understand this play because Nathan McKinnon does this frequently as the shooter in Colorado. And it's a back foot shot. You got to get it. You got to go down yourself to get it up. And he blows it over the shoulder of Horak for his second of the game. Second power play goal for Canada.
So the scouting report on Team Canada for the opposition is don't high stick them.
Not being followed very well by Slovenia.
O'Reilly drops it back to Johnson, shoots, and Horak makes a stop on that. Shots are 17-3 Canada in the second period.
So Bo Horvat reads this play early, and you almost pull yourself out of position because if you don't get the puck where you want it, when you pull yourself to the top of the circle, you're not really doing anything. So you better hope everyone else on the ice reads what's going on to get you the puck.
One of your favorite players at the World Championship has scored. Roman Starchenko of Kazakhstan.
Star man,
your guy.
Go. Star boy.
With a shot by Evans, kicked out by Horak. 1-1 Norway and Kazakhstan.
25th World Championship. He has played in 12, 14 of them.
Here's Johnson back with it. Loose behind the goal. The former Michigan Wolverine might have been thinking about the Michigan move there. Now another penalty coming to Slovenia. This will be for holding. Johnson pivots back. Drops it off to O'Reilly. Back for Johnson. To Evans.
Sid gets to come out for the goalie.
Matheson. Back across to Evans. Down to Johnson. 6-on-5 for Canada. Johnson. Moves it back down to Crosby. Johnson to Crosby. Feeds it back door for Matheson, who had jumped up, and finally Slovenia gains possession. And Canada, with 2 power play goals on the board already, goes back to the man advantage with 5:05 to go in the second.
If you're planning on all getting together, why stay in hotel rooms and not be together? Get an Airbnb and actually get together.
The Silverado Trail Boss. And a little work. And a little play. And a truck that says no to nothing. And Chevrolet.
Truck Month is on now at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select 2025 Silverado models, or visit your dealer for lease offers.
And Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's been a parade to the box for Slovenia.
Team Slovenia, number 43, minor penalty holding.
This one for holding. You play in your own end. Eventually, these things will happen. Hodraka gets wrapped up on Kent Johnson, and that number 1 unit goes back to work. Horvat's gotten 2 on the power play.
Yeah.
Can he make it 3?
Set back down to the Canadian zone. Garand back forward. If you're just waking up in Canada, Dylan Garand, the 22-year-old from Victoria, is Canada's starting goaltender. Jordan Binnington is not dressed for this game. Marc-Andre Fleury is the backup. Crosby banks that back to McKinnon. Crosby back on it. To McKinnon. To Konechny. Back down to Nathan McKinnon. Here's Konechny. Feeds that back across for Crosby. Missed the one-timer.
If Konechny walks the net there, that pass will get a lot easier.
Konechny back across to Montour. Crisscrossing with Crosby. Moves it down for Horvat. Looks it back at the line for Montour. Brandon Montour. Back down to Crosby. Konechny with a quick drive. Rebound, and Horvat turned away on the doorstep by Horak.
So you have the versatility of a left and right shot. Horvat lefty, Konechny righty. So Konechny doing what Horvat's done, looking for a little pop play one-timer. Slings it in the net. Good save by Horak. Rebound right there for the hat trick. Oh no, Horak snares it. Konechny and Horvat getting a feel for the movement together as a duo in front of the net.
Celebrini for Thompson, a long wrist shot. That was blocked in front and moved down the ice by Langus. Thompson. Up for Celebrini, and away comes Macklin Celebrini with Fantilli and O'Reilly. Celebrini. Back down to Fantilli for Celebrini. Chips that back to Dobson, and the cross for Johnson. Shoots, that was blocked as Stebe got in the way. Johnson back to O'Reilly for Johnson. Backhands it back across to Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini's pass back was chipped, and Johnson can't hold the line. Final seconds now of his power play. Picked up by Celebrini. Walks right in. Slides it back across. They score. Noah Dobson jumping in takes the feed. Just as the penalty is about to expire. And Canada's got a 4-0 lead.
This time it's the second unit on the power play off a rush play. Some pretty nice skill being displayed. Ryan O'Reilly, good job, strong on the stick to get it to the middle with a little pickup by Celebrini. And again, I think it's a no-looker. Watch Celebrini's eyes. He's trying to freeze the goaltender as though he's going to shoot it. He does, and then slides it back door to Noah Dobson for an easy tap-in. And now, courtesy of the power play, Canada stretching things out in the second period. And that one might end up counting as a even strength goal because it was
That's right.
As time expired.
It does. So they posted as a 5-on-5 goal. Dobson making his World Championship debut for Canada is on the board. He's one of the rarities in junior hockey history. He won back-to-back Memorial Cups with two different teams.
Yeah, it's just really nicely done by Celebrini. Rolling through, and Greg Orts is a bit fooled as well. If you're Canada, I guess you like the way the power play is going. 3 goals, essentially 3 goals in the power play. And if you're an offensive player like Dobson, getting one early, getting a point, getting involved does help you get more comfortable. Because as accomplished as Dobson is, this dressing room would not be the easiest place for young people to be and sort of be comfortable being yourself and whatever that dynamic is. But if you produce on the ice, it makes it easier off it.
Dobson has, however, cracked the code. He has been invited to the toughest summer skate to get into, the one in Halifax with Crosby, McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Greg Bathurst in that group. Sanheim puts that high, and the puck's up and out.
And if you see the clips of that summer skate, no wonder why those guys are so good. It is the most intense thing you've ever seen. It's more intense than training camp. One-on-one battles that are harder than training camp. So lots of players probably would like to get that invite.
Greg Orts back around for Sabelich. Picked up by Spurgeon ahead to Deneau. Phil Deneau. Lines back in. The long wrist shot was handled by Horak. He wasn't sure where the rebound was. And Cooley has it back. Will Cooley down to Sanheim. Travis Sanheim. Back for Spurgeon. In deep to Hayton. Aaron Hayton spins and shoots. It bounces off a couple of skates. Picked up by Podrekar and moved back to center ice. I'm not sure where the puck is. Went into the Slovenian bench.
Mackenzie Weegar had a great finish to the season for Calgary as they came up just short.
Yeah.
But he would be a guy that looked at this tournament as a potential audition for the Olympics.
Right.
He is on the radar, deserves to be there.
The hardest thing, the weirdest thing about it too, is he's a right-hand shot. It's tough to crack that lineup as a righty.
The rarest of things, an abundance of right-handers. Never the case in the NHL.
Matson shot deflects wide. Picked up by Crosby. And now bumped ahead by Droz. Jan Droz with a partial break in on Forster. Droz in the high slot. Dropped that back for Sitar. Picked off and brought back now by Shan. Braden Shan lobs that rink wide for Weegar. And Crosby chips it back around to Shan. Crosby back on it. And Sitar steps into him. Loose behind the goal. Now Shen taken down. The puck's under him.
This will be a tricky game for Braden Shen, whose body's probably not adjusted to the time over here.
Right.
Probably about 5 in the morning his time on puck drop.
Always amazes me how guys can get off planes and play here.
I tried it when I played in Sweden, when I came over here in 04.
Yeah.
Did not go well the first game. I made it look as hard as it sounds. It's like I'd never played hockey before.
Connecting rink wide for Dobson.
So the two of the guys who signed me are thinking, what is with this guy? He is terrible.
Did we get the wrong Mike Johnson?
Yeah. That's what they were thinking. These high-end players make it look far easier than it is. Although the bulk of Canada's team has been over here for about a week.
Yeah.
Played a couple of exhibition games in Budapest or Vienna.
Yeah. Worst places to go for training camp. Next year's World Championship will be in Zurich and Friedberg, Switzerland. As Horvat moves in. Now knocked down by Dobson. Back around to McKinnon. McKinnon shovels it back in front. Just missed Horvat with that pass. Time winding down here in the second period. Konechny pulls it free. Back for Horvat. Couldn't get a shot away, and a lead pass now for Matsu, but he runs out of time on a partial breakaway. And Canada will go to the dressing room with a 4-0 lead after 2 periods of play. It's the 2025 World Hockey Championship from Stockholm. Our second intermission is coming up.
Thanks. It's great to get mortgage advice from an actual specialist.
At TD, we're happy to help.
Talking about mortgages, huh?
I think I'll just stick with my TD mortgage specialist.
If you change your mind, give me a dingle.
I'll give you a dingle.
TD. Ready for you.
Don't let dinner be a dud. Go get that fresh. Get to Subway. Smoky, sweet, and made fresh with Canadian beef. Subway's new bourbon barbecue steak and cheddar. Subway makes it fresh like that.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
During Canadian summers, some things are only natural. Like a child insisting they didn't want mustard 3 seconds after asking you for mustard. For shirts to double as napkins. And feeding the neighbor kid, whose name you still don't know. How Canadian of you. These Canadian summer moments call for Maple Leaf's naturally delicious protein, using only real, simple, natural ingredients.
I can see clearly now. I'm here to save you.
I want to give you the chance you need.
A chance to give.
I want to remind you that your life means a lot.
And you can share that life
With those who really need it.
Here we go. One more. One more. Go, go, go.
I'm here to save you. Like you're here to save me. Bright, bright, sunshine day.
At the Home Depot, we make the doing easier. So no matter what projects you're tackling this season, you can take them all from do to done. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
TaylorMade presents the QI35. The ultimate collaboration between distance and forgiveness. Designed to unlock TaylorMade speed and QI forgiveness. For more distance from more of the face. Get QI Fit today from TaylorMade.
When your back hurts, life hurts. Roback's dual action formula relieves pain and relaxes tight muscles. Take back your back with Robax.
The PGA Championship is right around the corner. Get ready as it all begins on Thursday at 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on TSN and TSN+. Mark Rowe alongside Mark Giordano and Carlo Coliacovo for the second intermission. It's Canada leading 4-0 after 40 minutes of play. You know, there's an element at this early of the tournament of players just kind of feeling out the process and developing chemistry within their new teammates. But Mark, for Nathan McKinnon, I guess we shouldn't be surprised given his Team Canada resume. He has found his footing really quickly in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Nathan McKinnon? He's the best player, in my opinion, at the Four Nations. One of the best players year in and year out in the NHL. And just continuing that tonight. I mean, look at him here. He gains the puck in his own zone with a ton of speed, but he has the awareness here to know that they have lots of time. So by dropping the puck there, it gaps out the D, gets the return feed from Uyghur, and look at that shot. That's a goal scorer's goal, 5-hole. Not an easy thing to do, to put a 5-hole. I'd always shoot high and try and go far side there, but he puts a 5-hole. He knew exactly what he was doing.
And watching McKinnon on that view, wear number 9,
it's kind of a weird thing for me to see because he wears 29. But the unique thing about playing in a tournament like this is sometimes you get into tournaments and your number's not available. Here's McKinnon wearing 9. Well, guess who's wearing 29? It's the guy who's 40 years old, Marc-Andre Fleury, making his first ever World Hockey Championships debut. And what the significance around number 9 is, back in 2009, playing for Shattuck St. Mary's, Nathan McKinnon wore that number 9. So, hey, seniority plays over in this tournament. Fleury gets 29, he goes to 9. Looks weird for me to see him on it, but looks like he's playing pretty well with it.
Maybe a transaction happening behind the scenes.
Maybe.
Canada's power play looks good as we expected, and I feel like Bo Horvat has his spot that he likes on that power play.
Yeah, this is not a replay. It's not the same goal as he scored in the first one, but he's found this spot. He uses this spot a lot, especially in the NHL. When he was in Vancouver, he used to torch us in Calgary with it. He finds that little quiet area where no one can cover him. And again, McKinnon, setting him up right in his wheelhouse, and it's in the net. I mean, it's a hard play to defend, real tough play. If they defend him, Crosby will be open in the seam.
Pop-up play. It's almost like Ovechkin scores a lot of his goals in that same spot. Well, he's found that spot here on the power play early on.
Macklin Celebrini, really impressive in his rookie season. Didn't feel the pressure that a player often gets being the first overall pick, and not feeling the pressure of playing at his first World Championship. Definitely
not. And we talked about it pregame, Mark, the impact of playing with a guy like Crosby and even being around him. He is absolutely flying this game, and we see everything on display, the skill set, the speed, and now even just the hockey smarts with the vision that he has on the ice when he's making plays. Check out this first play. He gets the puck, and he knows where he wants to pass it by taking a quick look. It's a spinorama play to Kent Johnson, who puts him on a breakaway. Didn't score on this chance, but the significance of this play is when he leads to the goal, he's not even staring at the guy to make the pass. He's sort of creating a diversion with the goalie. No vision on that, and he just knows at the side of his head where he needs to put the puck. That's the beauty of watching a young player like this, is just seeing the evolution of the different things that he does to make himself great.
It's been a really good week for the New York Islanders. They won the lottery. They'll pick first overall, and 3 of Canada's 4 goals have been scored by a New York Islander, including Noah Dobson, who's standing by with Lindsay Hamilton.
Noah, Macklin Celebrini setting up your goal to make it 4-0. What did you see in that feed?
Yeah, just a great play by him. Ryan made a great play to him, and just tried to go to the net with my stick on the ice, and he put it right there for me. So big goal going into the third.
Your Isles teammate, Bo Horvat, with 2 goals in this game already. What should people back at home know about his game?
Yeah, he's a great player. Both ends of the ring, can score goals, defends well, and he's great in that bumper spot on the power play. So he's got a couple good looks. Hopefully we can look to get him one here in the third.
And this is your World Championship debut. What has been your favorite part so far?
Yeah, tough to say one thing. It's been a great group of guys, getting to know some new players, playing with different guys, and we're obviously really excited to get the tournament going here today, and Stockholm's been great so far.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, in Herning, Kazakhstan has scored a goal, and if you guessed Roman Starchenko, you would be correct. The country's all-time leader in goals, assists, and games played has made it 1-1 as they face Norway, a game that you can see right now on TSN2 when we return. A SportsCenter update as the Nuggets and Thunder battled in Game 3 of their second-round series.
Avoid the hype. Whatever life you choose, gold is easy to invest in online. It could help you grow what you have and protect it. Gold. Choose your own path.
Toyota takes you there. Don't miss out. Get in and go at your local Toyota dealer today.
Don't let lunch be lousy. Go get that fresh. Get to Subway. Canadian farm-raised chicken on fresh baked bread in Subway's new fiery piri-piri chicken. Subway makes it fresh like that.
I was fighting losing battles with opponents disguised as friends, and coming home to a different fight that never ends. I saw no other choice. I had to leave a roof for the rain. But sometimes I wonder if there was a path with more to gain. Maybe the opportunities would have been better, and every day would take me further towards something greater.
To help create new paths for youth experiencing homelessness, the Home Depot Canada Foundation is committing $125 million by 2030.
When there's distance to gain, when you need more stability in the wind, when the purest ball strikers all play the same ball, it's time to switch. The TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X, the ball you switch to.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
If there's a breach, God forbid, stay off the main street. You lock the doors, shelter in place till we tell you it's safe to come out. But you know the drill. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
We have a triple header in both cities today, so 4 more games to come at the World Championship, including Sweden looking to improve to 2-0 at 10 a.m. Eastern. At 2 p.m. Eastern, Switzerland looking to bounce back after losing in overtime yesterday to Czechia. They will face Denmark in Group B action. In the NBA playoffs last night, it was Game 3 between the Thunder and Nuggets. Denver down 3 with 30 seconds to go. Jamal Murray to a wide-open Aaron Gordon, who knocks down the triple. That would send this game to overtime, where it's the Nuggets up by 5 in the extra frame. Murray with a great move, driving to the rim, lays it in. He had a team-high 27 points. They dominated overtime 11-2 as the Nuggets win Game 3, 113-104. It was Game 3 between the Cavs and Pacers. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter all back in the Cleveland lineup. First quarter, it's Garland with a sweet no-look pass to Mobley for the slam. The Cavs led by 19 at the half. Then in the fourth quarter, it's Donovan Mitchell who gets the layup to go, plus the foul. It's back-to-back 40-point games for Mitchell. He finished with 43 on the night. The Cavs get on the board in this series as they take Game 3, 126-104 the final. It's Canada leading 4-0 after 2 periods of play. That game continues on TSN 1 and 4. Norway and Kazakhstan knotted at 1 on TSN 2.
Toyota takes you there. Don't miss out. Get in and go at your local Toyota dealer today.
That first heat wave can hit any time. Get ahead of it with an AC from Reliance.
That was fast.
Save up to $1,000 on a new AC and pay $0 up front with standard installation.
All on Reliance.
Oh, this is cute. Yeah, there's no price on this.
Oh, that's because it's not for sale. We're just vehicle specialists.
But the last place I went sold all kinds of things.
At Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing, your vehicle.
Huh, I like that.
Tires are on, belts replaced, sidecar attached. You're all set.
Great.
And now you can put our stuff back.
Stuff back, yeah, I'm gonna put it back.
Fountain Tire, we're on this road together, Canada.
Thanks for making mortgage rates make sense.
That's what TD Mortgage Direct is here for.
Mortgages? Let your Uncle Sal explain things. I'm good with TD. I'll be over here knowing things. Right by the snacks. TD.
Ready for you.
Don't let lunch be a letdown. Go get that fresh deal. Like Subway 6-inch Italian BMT or sweet onion chicken teriyaki on fresh baked bread for just $5.99. Subway makes it fresh like that.
TaylorMade presents the QI35, the ultimate collaboration between distance and forgiveness. Get QI Fit today from TaylorMade.
Legrand has faced 7 shots from Slovenia, stopped them all. The young 22-year-old from Victoria, BC, making his World Championship debut. And the Canadian power play has been in evidence in the early going here against Slovenia. But Mike, you've talked about it before. The fact is that Slovenia knows this is a tough game for them. The ones that the Slovenes have to win come later. Just don't be 8th in your group.
Yeah. Learning experience, a tough first matchup. The good news is, if you're Slovenia, 1, you got a goalie who looks like he's pretty good.
Here's first, kick down.
And 2, Canada's only scored 1 5-on-5 goal.
Right. Horvat, who's got the 2 power play goals, drops that back for Sanheim with a shot that was blocked. And Travis Sanheim back on it for Horvat. Back around to Konechny. For Spurgeon. Back in front. Konechny with a shot. Horak to save on that. Picked out by McKinnon. And the Slovenes have seen just about enough of Nathan McKinnon this afternoon.
Yeah, this line looks very comfortable together.
Konechny back across to McKinnon to Konechny. Snaps that pass back, and it's picked off by Capel. Horvat winds his way in. Feeds that down to Sanheim. And Masic knocks it down for Slovenia. Sometimes it's about winning games here, and more often it's about winning the right game here. For Slovenia, if they could pull out a win against France, say, late in the competition. Austria. Celebrini slings that towards the goal. Just missed Crosby with that. Both those players have recorded points in their World Championship debut. Crosby back in 2006 and Celebrini today. Both as 19-year-olds. Move back around, and Fantilli pulls that free. Knocked away from him and brought back out by Chosic. Back of it. Knocked down by O'Reilly. Now Mike Matheson up to center ice. Finds Johnson to O'Reilly. Threads that pass ahead. Just missed Kent Johnson with it. Now a shot by Matheson bounces away. Chipped that by Forster for Johnson, rolls that towards the goal. Now rink wide pass goes to Simcic, and that's gloved by Garand.
You see the Crosby getting his skate repaired.
So Crosby back in May of 2006, age of 19 years and 9 months. And Celebrini's 18 years old, gets his first point. 18 years, 10 months.
Changing the insole in his skate mid-game.
He is finicky about his skates. He may tie and untie his skates more than anyone in the league, and then changes the insoles.
I was wondering, maybe he didn't have the pop-out blades. He had an issue with the steel, but no, he's changed the insoles out. Maybe put on a different boot with the old insole that he was using already.
Now Deneau back with it. Brings that back for Sanheim. And down to Hayton. He was tied up by Gregorz. Zoshek plays it back to center ice. And knocks back to Jared Spurgeon. To Cooley. Spurgeon played 66 games this year for Minnesota after 2 injury-ravaged years prior to that. As Hayton pulls it out. Back for Evans and across to Uyghur. Uyghur lobs that towards the goal. It's blocked, trickles down, and Horak makes the stop.
See the defenseman of Canada trying to find ways to sift the puck down to the net. Horak has his guys in front of him battling hard. Unfortunately, there's not been an answer. Nate McKinnon, 3 points in the game. As you would expect him to be one of the leading scorers in this tournament, like he is in the NHL.
Horvat kicks that back. The face-off options for Canada are virtually limitless here. That pass misfires for Konechny. And icing called against Team Canada.
And so Nate McKinnon been involved early and often for Canada on the power play. Run through him, pop pass to Bo Horvat, picks up an assist. It was a beautiful goal. And that was the Russia tap turned aside. Here's the goal. He slips it 5-hole to get his first of the tournament and picks up another primary assist on a second Horvat power play goal.
The Canadian skaters scored a combined 371 NHL goals this year.
I think they only have 2 forwards that don't have 20. Bill Deneau and Braden Shen.
He's icing against Slovenia.
You think about it for Canada, guy like, Will Cooley or Baron Hayton or fourth liners, 20-25 goal scorers in NHL on just about any other team in this tournament would be frontliner players.
It's hard to remember a more decorated Canadian team at this World Championship. We talked about the fact that McKinnon's one of 4 first overall picks in the draft. You've got 7 Stanley Cup winning players, 7 World Championship winning players, 7 World Junior gold medal winning players. Here's Uyghur back on it. They're way over the top, by the way. McKinnon pulls that free. And Riker Evans back with it. Up at a Konechny, who lobs that towards the goal. And Horak gloves that and hang on.
It's a different dynamic, though. The players in the room would know we're very good. We have great players, deep team. We have a great chance to win here, as opposed to some of the years in the past where we see an upstart group trying to figure out how to navigate the tournament and win. They are always considered a favorite, but not necessarily the favorite.
2023 Canada's lineup was called by a Finnish journalist the worst Canadian team ever. When they won the gold medal, that's on the inside of the rings. Kind of like coming to Slovenia.
I'd wear that ring inside out if I was one of those players.
Celebrini down to Crosby. Celebrini centers it for Montour. Back for Matheson. That goes off a skate and bounces back as the extra skater's on for Canada. Matheson for Celebrini. Back across to Crosby. Celebrini back down to Shen. Shen in for Crosby. That was ticked away. Montour tried to center it. And finally, Slovenia touches up. And with 14:52 to go here in the third period, Canada's going back on the power play. Josic goes off.
Team Slovenia, minor penalty cross-check.
Josic gets a cross-check in front, knocks down the Canadian player. Going to that, Celebrini. It's not a violent one, but it's a cross-check. But what Sabolic comes out, the captain of Slovenia, says, hang on. I know they have the puck a lot, but at some point, not just us committing fouls here. Canada yet to have one penalty.
We're going
to trip on the break.
Here goes the power play to work again. Horvat in the bumper spot. McKinnon. That pass deflects high off the glass and bounces back to Montour. In for Konechny. And Horak sees the puck moving towards McKinnon, pounces on it to get a stop it.
Konechny's not happy. He knows that is a pass he is supposed to make. They break the play down, just get that thing in the air. Anywhere in the air, any sort of saucer pass, and McKinnon's waiting on a one-timer. He doesn't elevate it, and a good stick allows for the whistle. So they're electing to have Crosby take the right side face-offs. Now, he loves the power push to the wall. So he just shoves it towards Konechny. That's what's probably telling Konechny right now, be ready. The puck is likely to come flying over to you. And unusual strategy, but he's done it for years.
Konechny playing against the Penguins so much, likely aware of this.
There it is. It's in a nutshell. Well, we've all seen it before.
Montour back to McKinnon. McKinnon. Down to Konechny with a quick turn. Shot that went wide. Now Crosby back on it. Down to Horvat. To Crosby, can't quite hold the line. And here is Montour back with it. Montour. Back across for Horvat. And around to Konechny. Crosby shovels that back in front for Horvat. That's picked off and brought back the other way by Gizoshek. Gizoshek with a short-handed bid, and that's stopped by Garand.
We're seeing a lot of the first unit trying a lot of different things. And I talked about Konechny. If you take a step, that pass will be more open. There he takes a step. You do that once or twice, you will get the defenseman attention. Doesn't miss by much as Seach was the defender in front. And you draw him in, then the pass through the seam becomes available.
Dobson with it. 50 seconds to go on the Canadian power play to Johnson. Kent Johnson banks that back to Celebrini. In comes Macklin Celebrini. Chips that back to O'Reilly. And Celebrini got tied up along the boards. Stays back on it, kicks that puck back to Dobson and wheels it back across to Johnson. And Johnson throws it back in front. Just missed O'Reilly with that pass. Here's O'Reilly with it. Slides it there for Fantilli with a chance.
A save.
Terrific stop there by Horak. Knocked down the line by Dobson. Feeds that back to Celebrini and across for Fantilli to Johnson. Johnson. Back for Dobson to Celebrini. Shoots. He fired that wide. And Chosic is back on the ice for Slovenia. One shot for Canada on that power play. Dobson. Back for Fantilli, a drive. Horak to save on that. Spurgeon off the bench. He shoots and hits a skate. And chipped back out by Sitar.
Spurgeon is a very reluctant shooter of the puck. He's in great spots and he just kind of wants to just dribble it down there for the other guys to do the work.
Will Cooley chips it back down to the Slovenian zone. Still to come today, we'll have Sweden taking on Austria here in Stockholm. And then France versus Latvia tonight. Masic works it and shoots it. Rockets wide. Norway and Kazakhstan still tied at 1 in the third period. With a game that has some relegation implications.
Hungary, the new team over in the other group.
Torok moves it back across, and Sebelich has that roll wide. Torok. Back to Sebelich. Around to Capel. And Cooley banks that to the line and just out. Sanheim across for Spurgeon. Picked up by Uyghur. And Mackenzie Uyghur tries to slide that in deep. It's picked off by Matsu. Down up by Tyson Forster, but the play's a half step offside at the Slovenian blue line. 4-0 Canada leads here in the third period.
Add some adventure to your summer during Yamaha's Right Here, Right Now sales event. Cash rebates, special finance offers, extended warranty, and more. Visit your dealer or Yamaha's website for details.
With diabetes, progress is knowing how my food choices impact my glucose. The Freestyle Libre 2 sensor tracks my glucose in real time. Confident choices for more control of my life. For me, this is progress. Talk to your doctor.
Drink in more of summer with Tim's new Oreo Mocha Ice Caps. With Oreo in every sip. Perfect for that summer romance you longed for. Or that summer fling with the pool you longed for. Either way, drink in summer with Tim's new Oreo Mocha Ice Caps.
34-year-old Ryan O'Reilly Back at the World Championship for Canada. Stanley Cup winner in 2019. The Conn Smythe Trophy winners, the playoff MVP that year. Not sure if that series had gone to 8 games, if O'Reilly could have kept going. He was pretty much out of gas by game 7. He had given it his all in that playoff year.
Pretty decorated player. Not the huge point totals, but I'll start thinking about Hall of Fame stuff for Ryan O'Reilly, given the Selke and a Conn Smythe and the international success.
Yeah, I mean, the Hockey Hall of Fame is odd because it doesn't weight international hockey as much as the IIHF takes much more into account. And the IIHF Hall of Fame is perhaps more indicative as Matsu works in back across, and Graham makes a great stop there on Simsic. Matsu with the pass across.
Good for Dylan Garand. That is good stuff. Well, he's here not just to be a practice goalie.
Well, we talked about the intimidation for young players like Celebrini, Fantilli, and others that shot by connecting his block. Imagine being Dylan Garand.
No, I can't imagine being that guy in practice.
You're starting ahead of Marc-Andre Fleury and Jordan Binnington.
Although to be a goaltender of at any level as high as Dylan Garand is, had a pretty good year in the American League for Hartford. Probably didn't love seeing Jonathan Quick sign an extension because he'd be clamoring for the backup job in the Rangers. That's a great save. Push across, and even on the push, he's still very much in control. Not even that outstretched. Able to squeeze it back tight on the slide. But you have to have a degree of self-belief.
Sure.
To be good. So maybe they're well suited to step into a practice like that or a game like this.
Bounces back in front, rolls off the stick of Sitar. And Evans up for McKinnon. To connecting, that bounced away. Langas plays it back across for Slovenia. In comes McKinnon with connecting. Little drop pass for connecting with a shot. He ripped that wide. And McKinnon back on it. Plays that back to Sanheim. In for Spurgeon. Down to Celebrini and connecting. Rocketed that high.
Konecny could have about 4 tonight. He is disgusted with himself heading to the bench.
4-0 Canada leads here in the third.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose to get out there. Choose to make memories. Choose your calling. Choose to go for it. Just choose. Mazda, we craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
Let's find out who won an additional $75,000 and the Kruger Big Assist Grand Prize.
Congratulations, North Halton Girls Hockey. Thank you so much for running this program. What we can do with this for our community, it's just incredible.
The Kruger Big Assist program is so important. We all know the cost is rising to be able to play the game, and the lack of diversity in the sport are both really big problems, and the Kruger Big Assist are really removing those barriers for a lot of kids, giving them the opportunity to play Canada's sport.
18-year-old Macklin Celebrini awaits the face-off play from 37-year-old Sidney Crosby. 38, August the 7th. Born on 8/7/87. Now Crosby taps that back for Fantilli. It just missed. There's an NHL salary cap hit, also 8/7.
Counting wish he was born September 9th. Could have got him an extra $20 million in his career.
Only you could think of that. That number's taken, though.
We could go September 8th. What was that year? What a thrill it'd be for Fantilli and Celebrini to play on the wings with Crosby. They respectfully would say that he was their sort of hero, the guy they watched growing up.
Yeah. Well, McKinnon, too. I mean, yeah, you talked about it. I mean, take your pick.
And you also have to get over that, right? You have to get over the idolizing, and then you just got to play.
Matheson for Johnson. One of Crosby's greatest gifts is making people feel comfortable and making them feel welcome. Matheson drops it back. Forcer a hard shot. Horak to save on that. 8.5 to go here in the third period. Knocked down by Forster. Threads it ahead for Johnson. Kent Johnson. Works that loose. Centers it. Forcer a chance. Pad save by Horak. Matheson. Back across to Johnson. In for Montour. Backhands it back across. O'Reilly just missed on that. Hayton slings that back across to Dobson. In for Johnson. End of a long shift for him. O'Reilly pokes that back. Uyghur to Dobson. Centers it. The puck chipped wide by Johnson, who finally said, I got to get up. Makes his way back to the Canadian bench as Uyghur knocks it down. For Hayton. Jumping in is Cooley. Hayton winds in. Throws it back across for Cooley. That just missed. Langus. Taken down by Cooley. That's going to be a penalty to Canada. And Hayton racing after it. Extra skaters on for Slovenia. And so with 7:18 to go in the third period, Slovenia is going to the power play.
Mackenzie Uyghur. He gets a stick caught up in Langus' skates.
Minor penalty for tripping.
After Forster got a couple good looks. That one-timer, not bad, but this one, really good. Another one where Canada would expect to score. Disappointed they wouldn't. Charlie Gill gets another crack at the practice. Horvat, one of the better centermen in the league. Able to snap it back for a clear.
And again, the penalty kill options for Canada are extensive. Langus slides that wide. Sitar back on it. Masic. Back down to Makovic. Now loose in front. Duran. 2 point blank saves on Sitar. Masic draws, trying to center it. And Langus couldn't get a shot away. Back at the point, Masic. Makovic. And that knocked away, and now Langus back on it. Now knocked down the line by Masic, but he couldn't hold the line. Minute to go in the Slovene power play. Look at first legs on the ice as Sabolic hangs onto it. Gregorts tries to slide that and knocked down in front by Dobson. And Dobson sends that to Deneau at center ice. In comes Deneau shorthanded. Still Deneau. Try to center that for Hayton. Well, knocked down by Sabolic. Almost stolen there by Deneau. And Gregorts has it back. Leaves it back for Torok. Torok moves in. Final second of the Slovene power play. And Sabolic puts that wide as Uyghur steps back on the ice. Shen had the pass out of his reach. An icing called against Canada. 5:10 to go in the third period.
Another successful kill for the Canadians. Not much doing for Slovenia other than this one chance. Shot that was tipped on the way down. That's a good save, but the rebound from Duran to flash it twice to take it away from Sitar. Right on the lip of the crease. That is well done. This is going to be Dylan Duran's only start. He is making the most of it.
40-10, the shots on goal in favor of Canada. Slovenia's had the lead the last 2 meetings against Canada at the World Championship prior to this. Canada needed overtime to beat them back in 2013. In comes Tyson Forster. Moves it and rockets that shot wide. Sodja moves back in. That pass knocked away from Jozusek. Fed back to Stevic. That shot was blocked.
I like this. After the power penalty kills, they get Crosby and McKinnon out there together.
Right, here they are now. McKinnon back across to Spurgeon.
Well, part of the deal for them both coming over.
Crosby sends it back in for Celebrini. What a chance there, and a good stop made by Horak. Crosby and the kids are buzzing. Canada 4-0 lead here in the third.
The Bricks tent sale continues. Get 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 50% off select mattresses. And buy more, save more on major appliances. Up to an extra $1,000 off. The Bricks, saving you more.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
He's thinking about his diabetes. She's thinking he won't have time to eat like he should. And he doesn't want her to worry about that. But we can all rest easy, because that's where I come in.
Glucerna, a trusted ally for people with diabetes.
Don't let lunch be a letdown. Go get that fresh deal. Like Subway 6-inch Italian BMT or sweet onion chicken teriyaki on fresh baked bread for just $5.99. Subway makes it fresh like that.
Back here in Stockholm, the first of 3 games here today. In Herning, Denmark, Kazakhstan has taken a 2-1 lead on Norway late in the third period.
Number 1 picks only on this line.
Right.
Celebrini, Crosby, McKinnon.
Wow.
Oh, man. That's never happened, I'm sure, in this tournament before.
In comes McKinnon with Celebrini. The defenseman falls. McKinnon back for Celebrini. Backhanded that wide.
The second McKinnon got that, he was going to pass the puck, being unselfish over to Celebrini. In a different game, in a different situation, he would look to score there.
Montour knocks that away. Poked up by Celebrini. Back to center ice. Crosby goes after it. Celebrini finds McKinnon, walking in and shoots. And the stop made by Horak. And McKinnon slams his stick on the glass in frustration. He wanted to score there. Celebrini for Crosby. And Droz brings it back the other way for Slovenia. And that plays offside at the Canadian line.
I love it. I love the fire. As Celebrini returns the favor, gets it over to McKinnon, and he rings this one off the short side post. With the thunk. That's what he would have done the first time had he not been so unselfish. It's the reason why these guys are great. They demand excellence all the time.
Dobson moves it back across to Cooley. So Slovenia heading for its 15th straight loss at the World Championship.
If I'm Slovenia, I come out of this game not discouraged.
No, I think, as you pointed out earlier, at 5-on-5.
Canada scored twice, but one was right at the expiring of a penalty. Now they haven't generated much, but they've generated a little bit.
Sabelich shoots, and Garan makes the glove save on that.
But I think it's more their ability to keep Canada to the outside. That's where Slovenia should feel good. That will keep them in the games against the other opponents where they won't need to score 5 goals. They might only need 1 or 2. And Horak has been magnificent in this game.
Yeah, very good.
Well, he might need an ice bath and a couple days off afterwards, but
they're going to play Latvia tomorrow.
Does look a little furnace-faced in there, as he should be.
Face off, won by Fantilli. Chipped ahead for Dobson. Now it's center ice. It's kept alive by Stibbin. Plays it back down to the Canadian zone as Fantilli got it back up. And away comes Johnson. Lines in with Fantilli. The two Michigan Wolverines go to work. And Fantilli back on it. Johnson swings back. Chips it back down to Cooley. Cooley shoved down, kicks at that. And Sabolic back with it. The captain plays it back across for Slovenia. Steve. Straightened up there by Spurgeon. Plays it back down to the Canadian zone with 2 minutes to go here in the third period. In comes McKinnon again. Slides it back across, trying to find Horvat. McKinnon. Spurgeon. Back in front for Konechny with a chance. Turned away by Horak.
Oh, and sails right out.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty. Says Slovenia. Doesn't matter where it goes out. It's where you shot it from. And even though he shot that the length of the ice, Konechny is going to go off.
I'm watching Travis Konechny over the bench. Almost,
number 10, minor penalty, puck out.
Almost asking, do you want me to stay out here? I can't score right now. As he popped in front for another chance. So penalties have been an issue for Slovenia. But Konechny, talk about high danger chances. This most recent one, side to side, he pops out. And he does do a fantastic job of getting himself in those areas. Game after game.
Here's Montour back with it. McKinnon. McKinnon down to Konechny. Back to McKinnon. Lines it down. Feeds it across to Crosby. A shot. He cued that wide. Sitar races to it. A rolling puck. He chops it back down the ice. Minute 20 to go here in the third period. McKinnon. Lead for Horvat. That's knocked away, and McKinnon back to pick it up. McKinnon. Gains the Slovenian line. And McKinnon chips that back for Horvat. Crosby. Loose behind the Slovenian goal. Feeds McKinnon. To Montour. 45 seconds to go in the period. McKinnon. For Horvat with a quick shot. The glove saved by Horak takes away a potential hat trick from Bo Horvat.
What a save. What a save by Horak. That's been the money play for Horvat twice on the little bump pass. This one starts behind the net. Then it goes back up, down and over. Horvat's getting away from the net because he knows it's coming. Even with a jump screen by Crosby, he gets all of this. And that is a great save by Horak.
Montour to McKinnon. Back down to Konechny. To McKinnon. Rink wide to Crosby. Taps it back in front, trying to find Konechny. That just misfired. McKinnon, Horvat. And Crosby gloves that pass down. Crosby trying to find the stick of Horvat there. That misfired. Montour back with it. 10 seconds to go in the third period. Konechny down to Montour. McKinnon. Poke check by Horak, and Canada wins its opener by a score of 4-0. Canada now 6-0 all time against Slovenia at the World Championship. Canada will face Latvia tomorrow. Slovenia will take on Slovakia on Sunday.
Workman-like first game for Canada. Dylan Garand was rock solid in net, even in a bit of a surprise start for him. Pitches a shutout. Canada's power play was very good, and see that Nate McKinnon might be a problem in this tournament, but the star of the game, really, the best player, Lucas Horak.
Yeah, he was terrific.
Was so good right to the very end of the game.
Final shots were 44-11 for Canada.
This game could have easily been 9-0, 10-0. But Horak did not let it get out of hand at all. And despite all the star power in Canada, he kept this game pretty close.
And now we'll get the player of the game presentations and then the Canadian anthem.